What's up, guys? Devin 47 and welcome to Watch for the Plus. Grab more content coming your way. Now, today, watch a show called Tropical Kids, which is a 2012 animation. Now, just like Euphoria, it has multiple episodes where the universe resets at the end of each episode because it's basically a jrpg dating game. The main character picks one girl out of like the harem he has available, the plethora of women he has available, imagine. And once he picks her, they go down his route, they explain the backstory, they explain why she's the right one, and at the end of it all, you know, dank shipping. We have our boy Kaito. Now, he has an option of 5 girls to pick from. And since there are 3 episodes, a couple of them don't get picked. So the characters in this series are the main boy Kaito, Hinata, Rika, Matsuri, Izumi, and Nagi. Now we start off with the main character walking into this new establishment he's working at / living at called Aloha. I think it's like a luxury resort hotel because there's like a massive ass pool and other amenities that just scream uber wealthiness. And first girl he lays his eyes on was a childhood friend named Hanabi. Now, when I say childhood friend, I mean that sort of permanently scarred him to the point where he upped and moved from his family a year after graduating because he didn't want to associate with her whatsoever because she rejected him so hard, and he ended up just working full-time as a bartender to cope with the fact that he got rejected by his high school crush on his senior year. I mean, like, it was kind of that bad. But they meet up, you know, fate intertwined. And Ivy starts talking to him. It's like, yeah, so I kind of did that for the meme. Like, I was just like, joke, I didn't mean to reject you and ruin your life permanently. And of course, she couldn't have known, obviously, that he was gonna like do a Juice World and lucid dreams the fuck out of his life. But like, it happened. And at this point, before Kaito picks her in this episode, he is weighing his options, obviously. Because when he was rejected and went to the bartending town that he went to, he met up with a girl named Rika, who also was working there at the establishment called Aloha, the hotel resort. Now, the fact that she's there also could implicate it that she can be picked later on, that's whatever. And the fact that she's there is a bit of a coincidence as well. Pretty much every girl he's ever met in his previous life, before this one I mean, has connections with him. And when Rika finds out that Hanabi still loves him despite rejecting him as ferociously as she did, then Rika decides to help her get with him, even though Rika also loves him. Now, the way she decides to help her get with him is do this like really weird pseudo like, oh, which person will he pick, by pushing themselves into a pool and separate enough for the point like he has to like go one route or the other. It's like, oh my god, Jessica fell off a cliff. Oh my god, Samantha's about to get shot. Who are you gonna choose? You only have one phone call to make. Oh my god, you only pick up one phone. And then like, I mean, but Kaito picks both. And guess what? Guess what, man? When Rika told Hanabi about that plan, Hanabi's like, he's gonna pick both of us, so there's no point in doing this. And that's when Rika concedes, and Hanabi is with him now, and they're a couple. Now, after the end of numerous population sessions, they go back to the scene where she ran the fuck off when he confessed to her and become an official couple. Mwah. That's the end of episode 1. See, kind of wholesome, guys. You know what I mean? No ferocious violation. No absurd plot that justifies the ferocious violations in the animator's eyes. None of that. It's actually kind of wholesome and clean. Episode 2. Now at this point, everything resets. So we're back at day 1 with Kaito at the Aloha luxury resort for the uber wealthy. And we immediately start off with him dating this sweet tooth girl named Matsuri. And her whole arc essentially goes along the lines of like, they were a couple, but place she worked at that she originally met Kaito before the bartending life. It might have been during, I don't know exactly. But before the Aloha life, for sure, she had to quit because her grandma's pressing her. And also her grandma didn't want her to have a relationship with another man that young, I guess. I don't know, she was like really authoritarian with that shit. And so she regretted consistently leaving the workplace that they met because they could have potentially been a couple. The fact that they are now indicates that could have been so. At this point, they're starting to bond. It's kind of adorable at this point, honestly. Later on, play a game at this hotel where it's like if Gintama was in this realm of animation-esque, where the water guns could dissolve the girls' swimsuits, and if the men got aroused by that, then they would blow up, like comically blow up. And of course, the girls won because if you're gonna blow up, you're out of commission. But if your swimsuit gets sprayed, you can still get people to blow up. You know what I mean? It's almost designed to make the boys lose and explode for comical effect or anything. Am I explaining the joke? Yes, I am. Let's get over that. Anyway, Matsuri decides to weigh herself and becomes extremely self-conscious of the fact that she eats sweets all day. One of her main aspects of being a character, as I mentioned before, was that she binge eats sweets, right? Like I just did last night. I had a whole box of Gradelli peppermint bark, tastes like oil and shit, but I ate it anyway because it was sweet. And she's like that too. So she decided to cut back on that. Kaito's like, babe, what are you doing? I like it better when you eat. Come on. And then they copulate. At that point, Matsuri's like, you know what? I'm gonna chase my fucking dream. You wait here, little bitch boy. I'll come back. And she goes to become a food coordinator, or study to be one, for a full-time job, obviously. 2 years later, boom, she's back. And they're now a couple together, living happily ever after. And that's the end of episode 2. See you again, wholesomeness. Let's go to episode 3 and end this on a slightly good note, I guess. I don't know, this one's kind of crazy. Episode 3. Remember Rika, the blue-haired girl I was mentioned before? Yeah, so now she is the one to be chosen in this specific route, in this specific episode. When it went out initially, because Kaito was so depressed, because of the fact that, you know, Hanabi dumped him. And this is essentially like if episode 1 had a redux where Rika won instead of Hanabi winning, you know what I mean? And Hanabi's depressed the entire time because she sees the defeat right in front of her. It's over for her. The thing with Rika is, right, this one's very short and condensed because it's basically summarized in like these like 4 points here. Number 1, back when they were a couple for like 2 seconds in the bartending phase for Kaito, the way Rika got into his fans, essentially like flirting with him, was like, damn, wouldn't it be a shame like both our apartments got lit up in fire? Here's my spare key, and let me get yours. She's already in. She can come whenever she wants. No pun intended there. At this point, they're officially cordial with each other. And then the next day comes along. Kaito's drinking because he's going through it. He's basically singing Marvin's Room in his head because I think it was like Valentine's Day or some shit because there were fireworks going up outside. He was going through it. And Rika was like, hey, let me console you. And she does that. And at that point, sometime later on, he just eventually moves on and goes work at the hotel, and then they meet again. Now, at the hotel, now remember when I said like 2 seconds ago that the way Rika got with Kaito was because she was saying, wow, wouldn't it be crazy if our apartment lit up on fire? Guess what? Her apartment lit up on fire. And when she saw the fire, she immediately was running towards it to take one single picture out of the apartment that was burning down. What's the single picture you're asking? Oh, it's a picture they took during the bartending phase for Kaito. Clearly, she's obsessed with this man to the point she was going to risk her life to get a picture of back then. Now, I don't know why it wasn't saved anywhere, if it's that important. I guess for the meme, you only have one copy of a photo you cherish so much you risk your life for. Like, to be honest, that's not how I work. If I have something that valuable, I would try to get duplicates of it, okay? Maybe that's me. Kaito realizes how obsessed she is for him and decides to full-on plunge, and now they're a couple. And that's basically it. Now, what I just described to you was, again, animation called Tropical Kiss, made in 2012, and it's going on a wholesome playlist, like I mentioned before, because it was wholesome. Wow. That's such a rarity on this channel. Oh my god. But yeah, that's basically it. Now, guys, I actually want to make a second channel this time. The last time I made a second channel, I accidentally deleted it, and I didn't really mean to delete my second channel. It's kind of yikes to do that. But when I do my second channel, what I'm going to do essentially upload Twitch clips there and then like original videos on the side. You know what I mean? So I can have like a second avenue of content to put my Twitch content on, which is FNF47Drody. All right, guys, I don't have an outro, but if I did, it wouldn't matter because no makes fun of the video. Good night.